All right, I think this is going to be about as far as I can move that. Good morning, guys. Welcome to my garden. If you're new here, my name is Kira. Feel free to call me Q. And today is very exciting because I got a bunch of plants from the nursery, like these. Let's see if I can get those in the light. Very pretty. I'm so excited for this. So we got a bunch of flowers and I got like some pepper plants and eggplants and stuff like that. Basically just a little bit to supplement the things that didn't go well in my seed starting this year. And to start off, we are going to be planting in all of the empty spaces in these Greenstalks. This is the most started plants I've ever bought in all of my years gardening, including my first year. So this is kind of fun. And I've never really like bought plants to fill in these Greenstalks. So I'm very excited for this. So in here, I have a bunch of different kinds of, what are these? Petunias? Yeah, a bunch of different colors of petunias. I've never grown them before, but I saw Becky from Acre Homestead. She did an entire Greenstalk of petunias, and it was really cool. And so I'm hoping that these fill in pretty nicely and add like just a lot of pops of color for these Greenstalks here. And then I have some celosia here, which I'm probably not going to put in the Greenstalks. I've seen these in a lot of cut flower gardens, and so I wanted to try those. And then I did get another flat of strawberries. This one is Eversweet, Everbearing. They're not the same as the Everbearing that we already have in here, which was Quinault or Quinault. And so I'm excited to have a third one and just fill this in a little bit more. So yeah, let's see. I probably should start with the strawberries. And yeah, I think I'm going to start with the strawberries and then go from there. Oh, the other thing that I got as far as things I'm considering for the Greenstalks is I got this nasturtium. It's in orchid cream nasturtium, and I thought it might be cool to have a couple things that kind of spill down. I'm going to put the rest of these in and then see if I want to put these in because they're a totally different color than the rest. I just thought that they were really beautiful. So I might try to kind of go for a color tone here, or I might just go like fun and colorful, which is usually what I lean towards. So we'll see how this goes. I think I'm already going to take off this jacket. I love this time of year. It's getting warm, guys. Love it. I did put a lot of different things in these Greenstalks when I originally planted them out. We actually did that together for this one. And so what I want to do now is just go through and take the tags out of the cells where either nothing is coming up or it's just something that's not doing very well and I would rather replace it than wait for it. And then I also will need to get new tags for these so that I can keep track of what's what. And then I think I need clippers too so that I can take off the little flowers. In my previous video where we planted the strawberry Greenstalk together, I did mention that it's good to take off the flowers or any like fruit that you see when you are planting something like this, just because it allows for the plant to really focus on getting stronger roots and acclimating to where it is rather than trying to make fruit right away. And I did that with all of the strawberries that are already in here, and they did really well. We did lose two, I believe, of the Quinault variety, but those were the ones that looked pretty bad when I put them in. I'm not sure what happened, but they just started not doing well while they were waiting for us to plant them. We still got four, and they all look terrible, so I'll take it. All right, just got 6 tags now. I'm also going to keep the nursery tag so that if the handwriting starts to fade on these other ones, oh, these are really dry, then I still have a tag for them. So I'm going to pop this guy right here. I did water this Greenstalk this morning, and I checked to see if the plants needed watering, and I didn't check the strawberries. I checked the flowers. So we got these 2 days ago at the nursery. So I will just give these a little bit more water once I'm done here. And then, okay, so this one, in this little pocket, the the canals that was in this one died. So I'm going to put another one in here. And when I originally planted this green stock, I did decide to kind of color code the tags. So normally I don't have any like rhyme or reason to the color of the tag that I use, but I decided to do that specifically with this green stock because I had different varieties of strawberries going in, and already I'm so glad that I did that because it's been really easy for me to just check the variety just by knowing the color and then to count how many of each that I had. Okay, so already forgot I was going to take off the buds, so let's take these guys. Go back to this one. Oh, this one has a little strawberry on it. So you definitely want to take things like that off, little strawberry. And then I'm going to come in and actually cut the flowers off of the rest of these just real fast. This one, this pocket had Thai basil in it, and there's nothing in there now, so I'm going to do another one right here. You're definitely going to have to water these. I'm also going to clip this yellowing leaf off of this one too, so the plant doesn't use any energy trying to keep that alive. All right, this pocket here is where I just planted some poppy seeds just because they were old and I had them, and I wanted to see if they would come up, and none of them did. But I've officially used all those seeds, so I'm happy about it. I'm so happy that I decided to get more strawberries to fill out this green stock. I really do love having vertically grown strawberries. It just cuts down so much on the bugs, and for us, it's slugs really. We used to have like a strawberry cage at our old house that we built, and it was protected from birds, but the slugs would just get in there the minute the fruit was even close to ripe, and by the time you got to it, it was just full of holes. And this has just worked so much better, and it's really beautiful. I love to see them hanging down. The whole thing is great. Let's do one. I kind of want to have more flowers at the top because I think it'll be really pretty. So let's do another one. What was this? Chard. Let's just take out this chard and put another one in there. All right, so now we have all of the strawberries in. Let's add some color. While I was picking out the flowers that I wanted to put in these green stalks, I was really thinking about backdrops for parties. We love to host parties at our house, and a lot of times we'll have the main gathering kind of on our patio. I wanted something that would be beautiful and colorful and just kind of add to whatever other theme we had going on at the time. We do have a couple summer parties that we plan on having this year. And so we're going to have like a Juneteenth party. Our baby's first birthday is going to be this year, which I can't even. I'm so excited for that. Andrew's birthday is this summer. And so it's going to be a lot of hosting, which we really love doing. I just wanted some more color in this backyard space just to make it as cheerful as possible. I went with petunias because based on the tags, it looked like they would do well in full or partial shade. And with the way that this patio is, it's a covered patio. And so the taller green stock here with the strawberries on it, we kind of can get away with full shade plants on that one as long as they're not too picky, just because it gets morning sun. You can see here where the sun is shining on it now. So we are able to get away with it a little bit, and we definitely have to just keep rotating the green stalk every day. Now, the plants in here, they're not going to be as big as they could be if they were getting full sun, if they were all getting full sun every day, but it's kind of working out for us. Now, I also really wanted to have a green stalk on the other side of the patio, and it's a lot more shady on that side. It really only gets late afternoon sun, which is pretty warm in our summer, but there's just not very many hours of it. So this is something I'm still figuring out if I can even have green stalks all the time on this patio. But it is something that I want to keep playing with because I would love to have things on the edges to just kind of frame whatever we have going on. I like that we can sit at the table and have plants that are beautiful and growing closer to us. We can look at them while we're eating.
I like that we have something pretty to look at to add to kind of the ambiance if we have a couple over for dinner or whatever. So I do have high hopes for this, but it is something that's a work in progress still. Now, I might find out that I can only really grow things in green stalks well on one side of this patio, or they might have to come off the patio altogether. This is something that I haven't had a lot of success with yet, but I also haven't put a lot of time and attention into it. Last year was the first year I even grew it with these at all, and I was pregnant and had a lot of other things going on. And so my goal with gardening is just to get a little bit better every year and to try something new and see if it works for me. But just putting these together brings me so much joy. I love that I got 3 different colors too, and I really got a kick of just kind of like mixing and matching and making sure that I wasn't putting two of one kind of color too close to each other to really spread them out and stuff like that. And so this whole thing was just really fun for me, and now at the time of recording this, it was about a week ago that I did this, and looking outside my window and seeing these flowers just makes me so happy.
All right, this one's all done. Let me give you a little bit of a close-up just because the light is not great right now. We have all of our strawberries in here, and then we have our little pops of color. Well, I'm gonna have to get all the dirt off of these. Then we have our pops of color petunias, which I really love this. I think I might just do this from now on. This is really great. This one didn't have any flowers on it once I was done pruning it, which was fine. And then we do have little pockets like this one where the basil is just starting to come up, and I would like to have things like basil in here. So I didn't put a flower in that one, but I'm really happy with this.
And now it's just a matter of watering them in really quick. I have this nozzle that has a bunch of different settings on it, and so I went with the Mr. setting just to kind of give it a really light, gentle watering. Like I mentioned early in the video, I did water the green stalks themselves already, so I just wanted to kind of add a little extra to them at this point.
Okay, now for the shorter guy. My plan for this one, just because this green stalk gets more shade, was I really wanted to see if I could grow things like cooler weather crops in it, like lettuces and cilantro and things like that. But all the starts that I put in here were pretty terrible to begin with. They were worse than my summertime stuff. So a lot of them haven't really grown very much since I put them in here, even with fertilizer and stuff like that. So I think I'm just going to replace most of these, honestly. I do want to still experiment with this and see if we can do cooler weather stuff longer if it's in the shade here, but honestly, I expect it all to bolt just because it gets really hot here. This is the same green stalk as our other one. It's just a little bit shorter because our pup decided to chew one of reservoir the reservoir things when we had it disassembled, and we still just need to replace it. So I think what I want to do in this one though is I think nasturtiums hanging would be really pretty in this one. And I have 4 in here, so I think I'm going to do that and just kind of like spread them out on, are there 4 tiers? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah, I'll do 1 nasturtium for every one of the tiers. That's easy. Oh, this is going to be a mess. Get a tray. Nasturtiums are one of those things that's supposed to be really easy to grow, but I've always struggled with it. This year I managed to get them for the very first time, but they still weren't great. And so I am excited to kind of get another chance at this with started plants that I got at the nursery so that I can see really how I like them and if I want to put more energy into them in the future.
I am really excited to see what these nasturtium plants end up looking like, because when I've seen them in other people's gardens, they kind of like bush out and hang down. And so the plants just get really massive from what I understand. I am really looking forward to seeing kind of like a cascade or a waterfall effect going down diagonally on this green stalk is what I was going for. Here I'm showing you this like tiny lettuce plant that I just took out to make room for these nasturtium. But yeah, I'm excited to see what they look like. I think if it goes well, it's going to be really pretty. I would love for them to just fill up a space in this green stock along with these flowers. Now here I started to place plants without planting them first. I'm a very visual person and I like to kind of move things around and see how it looks before committing to it. This just kind of like helps my brain. I've always done this. I have a background in event planning. I had my own event planning business that was pretty successful before 2020 and everything that happened with that. And this was something that I always did. So whether I was, decorating a table or putting together a centerpiece or setting up a catering table, anything like that, I always kind of end up placing things, stepping back and looking at it, and then shuffling things around a bit. It probably does mean I spend too much time working on stuff like this, but it does bring me a lot of joy to just kind of like place things and think about how they go together and textures and colors. And with a lot of stuff that I do, I'm also thinking about all five senses. So, how do things smell together? If it's food, what do they taste like? What would people naturally gravitate to, and then what would they look for next? Those are all things that kind of just run through my head when I do things like this. And I think it's fun that it translates also to how I plant out a green stalk full of flowers.
And here's a look at the second green stalk. So definitely a lot more gaps in this one. I am looking forward to experimenting with those a little bit more. You can see we have things like cilantro right here. But yeah, I'm really loving this. I'm excited to see what this green stalk does. All right, so now we're in the garden and I'm excited to show you what else I got at the garden centers. So let's see. So this is peperoncinis. Uh, I actually did get some of these seeds from My Gardener and I tried to start them this year. I did get some of them, I did plant some of them, but they were all really tiny and weak. So I got some of these as just kind of a backup just in cases. And then I got some tomatillos. So these are green, regular green tomatillos. I got 3 of these, I think. Yeah, here's the third one. The seeds that I started were purple, and by the time I actually planted them out, I planted 2 and then they died. So I got these green ones. The thing with tomatillos is you need at least 2 of them because they have to cross-pollinate. We made that mistake 2 years ago with planting a tomatillo. We got one and it was beautiful and bushy and had a ton of flowers and never fruited. So we've since learned, and I like to get 3 so that in case something happens to one of them, you still have 2 for them to pollinate each other. And then here, it's another pepper. These are Yellow Wonder. They're just a regular sweet bell pepper. And then this one is a Bell Boy, another just bell pepper. Both of these tags are green, and so it's good to eat them green, but with most peppers, they will change color eventually if you just keep waiting, especially with the bells. And so they'll usually turn from like green to yellow, orange, and then red. And that is why in the grocery store, peppers are more expensive when they are like a different color other than green, because they just had more time to ripen. So we got those, and then I got eggplants. This is chiban. I'll put it on the screen. I think it's chiban or chiban. Definitely saying that wrong. I'll put it on the screen for you. It's just kind of like a long eggplant. And then we got, oh, here we go. This is the celosia that I was talking about earlier when we were doing the green stalks. I just wanted to try these for cut flowers. Even if they don't get long enough for cut flowers, I think that they're really pretty, so I'm happy to have those. And I think instead of putting them in the cut flower garden, I'm probably gonna spread them out all over the garden just for a little bit of interest. And then at the farmer's market yesterday, I went to my favorite stall and got a couple peppers. It was nice to kind of like chit chat and stuff like that with her, but it was the woman that I got the Hungarian heart tomato, and then what was the other one? I don't remember what the other one was called, but it was yellow. If I remember, I'll put it on the screen too. But anyway, I got peppers from her this year, and so I got a diamond pepper, which was this really pretty, like silvery yellowish gray color. It, no, hi Remy. It was really nice. So I got that one just because it was different and interesting, and I love getting stuff like that at the farmer's market if I can. I'm definitely willing to support a local farmer, support a local anyone growing anything really, and then also get something cool and pay a little bit more for it. Like, I'm down. And then this is an Edgevarsky. We had these last year. We really loved them. And none of the seeds, I don't think, came up this year. Or no, I didn't have any of these seeds. I planted Marconis instead this year. So I got an Edgevarsky just because I wanted it, and we really like those. Comes the hard slash fun part, is figuring out where I'm going to put all of these.
So the first thing I'm doing here is just writing tags for each one of these seed starts. I also noted on the tag if it was a start that I bought at the nursery so that I could know in the future if my plants got big and, were healthy. I'm just putting that out there, hoping that happens, that I would know which ones I got from the nursery later so that I could just keep track of it, especially with doing the garden tours and stuff like that. I do like to be able to know what is what. This is something that is really meditative to me, going out in my garden and figuring out where I'm going to place seeds. It's a really peaceful, calming experience. I get so much out of it. I love that it takes up just enough of my brain space so that I'm really focused on it and all of the kind of like back chatter stops, but it's engaging, right? And it keeps my interest, and I like thinking about what all of these things are going to look like in the future. I think about walking down these garden pathways later and seeing all the different things and remembering what I put in and what it looked like when it was, first planted and all of that stuff. I really do visualize all of that when I am putting in seed starts. And one thing that I really, really love about gardening, you can see that I'm talking here too. The baby is just off camera. He's hanging out with me and his little bouncer, having a good time. And I love that we can garden together. I love that he's like just at that age where he can be out here with me in the shade, of course. But I love that we can kind of do this together. And I'm so excited for when he gets a little older and he can plant things with me and, mess up all the tags and plant things way too close to each other. I'm so excited to share all of this with him. But this is something that I love about gardening, is that it's always a full experience. There's always something new to learn, something new to try. There's always things that don't go the way that you want them to. And then there's a lot of things that just exceed your expectations and just go way past your wildest dreams. And I love that you get that every single season with gardening. And I love too that it's something that you can do for your whole life. One thing Andrew and I were talking about while we were picking up these plants at the nursery was we were noticing how many seniors there were. Just, walking around picking up plants, stuff like that. It was an afternoon, and so it was basically us and a ton of seniors. And it just made me really happy because I have this hobby that I can think of doing for the rest of my life. And I love that. It's keeping people active, it's keeping people out in fresh air. It's a social thing, it's something that you can go and get something new and exciting or try something different. It keeps you learning. It keeps your mind and body active. And that means so much to me that I found something that is going to give back so much in my life, so much more than just food. Like, the food is amazing. And there's so many benefits that I get even now from gardening. But the fact that I can look forward to all of these things as I grow older and things look different and life looks different, that brings a lot of peace to me. Another nice thing about working in this side of the garden is I feel like I got a good look at what was in here still. And so there are things that are bolted that I missed. There are things that we can harvest from, which is really exciting. And then there are things that I was making decisions like, do I want to leave that and give it a little more time? Do I want to take it out now? But going into these different spots in the garden was really helpful because I got to kind of sit there for a minute and take stock of what was there. The other thing too is I got to see what I already planted already from my seedlings that weren't very strong or very big. I got to see what was making it and what wasn't and needed to be replaced. And I found out that there was a good handful of things that I'll need to come in and replace with something else. And I've just decided to be okay with that and make my peace with that. I love that we have such a long growing season here. Our growing season is like 300 days or something wild like that. It's basically most of the year. And really, we can garden all year long here. And that's one of the beauties in being in zone 9. Like, it does slow down in the summertime. Things don't do very well because it gets so hot. And in the wintertime, sure, things just kind of like slow down and stop for a little while. But for the most part, I am very grateful to live in such a long growing season because for things like this, it just gives me so much grace in being able to learn and try again in the same garden season. And I know that there are some things like peppers, I don't have time to start peppers again and actually get a harvest from them. But there's so many other things that I can try again and again and again until I get it right. And I'm so grateful that I happen to live in a place that gives me some grace for learning and trying to do better.
All right, so it is several hours later now. Had a shirt change because babies. And the sun, as you can see, is all the way up in the sky right now. And so I want to plant the rest of these as quickly as possible. One, so that I can get them in the ground and get the ones that we put in earlier this morning all watered in. And two, because I'm hot. So let's see if we can just knock the rest of these out. I think I want to put what's left on the other side of the garden where everything is a lot smaller right now. Oh, there's one bed back here too that I haven't put anything in yet. So maybe we'll start there and then we'll go to the other side. So I can actually see, I did put a bunch of my itty bitty peppers in this side already. I forgot about that. So I think I'm just gonna put one of celosia in just for some color. Probably just put it right in the middle for it to be fun. Let's see, I want one that has a yellow and a red. And then it looks like I have some like kales or something over here too, and some chards, and a little wee carrot. So I'm going to leave all of that.
Now, on this side of the garden, I mostly have the starts that I started myself. So everything is really tiny on this side because we didn't actually garden in the fall on this side of our garden. It was just on that other side where you saw all the garlic and stuff like that. And so these beds we did amend with compost that we made and we covered them with leaves for the fall. And so I'm excited to also see what those nutrients do for these beds as opposed to the other side of our garden. We do plan to fertilize on a regular basis this year. It's something we've never really done before, but we are kind of doing it out of necessity a little bit this year because we had the goal to make as much of our compost and fertilizer as we could and not buy any this year. We are going to be doing things like experimenting with worm casting tea and stuff like that. So I am interested to see how that does.
So it looks like a bunch of the peppers that I had planted here have unfortunately not made it. So it is nice that I have a few more that I can kind of replace them with. And I think what I'm going to do is, as I just go through this garden, I'm going to just keep putting more seeds into spots where things died, just so that I have the potential for something coming up later. And then I do plan to keep doing more seed starting trials inside, but I'm going to be doing it with things that germinate pretty quickly. So things like different basils and stuff like that. I don't have any Thai basil, or I might have a little bit out here right now. It's not very much, not as much as I normally do. And I do really love Thai basil. For the look of it alone, I grow it. And the purple opal basil, things like that. I do want to make sure that I get those in the garden more than I have now. So I'm going to do more of those, just starting them inside and then planting them out here as they're still small, but this will make it so that I can practice my seed starting more and hopefully really fine tune it by next season instead of waiting for next season and then hoping for the best, which is what I've done every other year. But yeah, I'm just trying to make the best of this garden year that I can and not let the disappointment get to me too much. It definitely is getting to me, not gonna lie about that, but I'm gonna keep trying and take everything kind of as a lesson learned. All right, so I'm gonna finish watering these and get inside as quickly as possible. I'm like already sweating out here. I love warm weather though. I'm definitely a California warm weather girl. We ended up getting everything planted today except for the tomatillos, but everything else is officially in, and I'm very excited about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me in my garden today as we planted a lot of really fun things. I would love to know what you're planting in your garden right now, whether it's raised beds or a patio garden with containers. I'd love to hear all about it. So thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time. Bye, friends.